Okay, so good day. I'm Ryan van der Bos in the class of 1 BLA in International Food Business, and this is my speaking assignment for the course PPLIO 6 to prove my proficiency of my English for C1 level. I'm trying my best to upkeep an accent, as you can hear. I picked up this accent because of an exchange I had in third grade of high school. I was in an international program there as well. It was called TTO, or bilingual VWO. I don't know what it's actually called in English, but we had a lot almost all of my courses were in English, and there was an exchange program with Cambridge as well. So I picked up an accent there, but I don't use it a lot because I think it's really, yeah, maybe cringy, even kind of weird to show off. I kind of got an accent, well, because I'm kind of still setting it up. It doesn't come naturally, but it just sounds more sophisticated. So, so I try to use it as much as possible for professional purposes. So yeah, this is my speaking part. I don't really have a particular topic to. Well, I do have a particular topic to talk about because last time I had a presentation that I prepared. I also did the presentation in class, and I had revised that already, so I could talk to you about fermentation and stuff. But now I don't have that, so I need to get something to talk to you about and prove my proficiency in speaking. So that's what I'm going to do. I watched a video this morning about things that could save your life that I thought were really interesting. Um, like common misconceptions that you may think of, like, oh yeah, if you're in a survival situation, maybe you find, maybe you remember some tricks to keep you alive that actually maybe don't help to save your life and could get you killed. For example, when you're really cold, uh, you shouldn't eat snow, which I thought was, yeah, if you think about it, it's all really logical. But I always learn, yeah, if you're in a snowy area, water's all around you. It's literally frozen uh, water that comes from the air. You can drink rainwater. Why can't you drink snow? You can drink snow, but you first need to heat it up. Because if you just eat snow, your body takes a lot of energy to convert that cold snow into warm water. And it first of all, it lowers your body temperature. So if you eat a lot of snow in a cold area, it lowers your body temperature and it can cause hypothermia. But the other thing is it costs a lot of energy to convert that cold snow into warm water, basically. So uh, it's you use a lot of your energy, and that's, yeah, bad in a survival situation. If you don't have energy left, you feel kind of sleepy, drowsy, and if you sleep, you close your eyes, you die, basically. There have been cases as well, like if common things that happen with hypothermia is first you just feel cold and then you begin shivering. Shivering is a good sign of the body because it's shivering, it moves your muscles, it uses energy, but it keeps the blood flow going. It creates, with these electric impulses, it creates warmth to keep you warm. Secondly, once that stops, it means your energy has run out. Like you can burn a little more calories, but your body is just maintaining the basic functions, so you stop shivering. That's a part where it becomes really dangerous because once you stop shivering, you begin feeling very drowsy, maybe even warm. There have been a lot of cases that when people die of hypothermia, of when they found dead bodies in cold areas, they were stripped. Actually, the people were just sitting like this without any clothing on because they probably felt the cold makes your body feel warmer for a weird reason. But that's actually a sign that you are dying and getting hypothermia. And yeah, you get really slow and drowsy, and you get the feeling you want to close your eyes. And once you do that, you die. So that's not really a good thing. So don't eat the snow if you are well, if you are really thirsty, then that goes first because thirst is yeah, water is more important than energy most of the time. Not always, but yeah, you get what I mean. My dad always taught me the three rule. Um, I'm not sure. Yeah, you can go 3 hours without warmth. I think I wasn't sure about that one. But you can go 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, which I thought was really interesting because you can go way longer without food. Your body has these kinds of reserves that keep you alive. But if you don't have water, yeah, then you die. Simple as that. Same as you shouldn't drink your urine. I also, because I saw Bear Grylls once, and the Dutch version of Bear Grylls, Freek Vonk, they told us, yeah, you can drink your urine. It's a self-replenishing system of yeah, of water basically. You can filter it and whatever, but don't do that because there's a lot of salt and waste in urine, and you will die of kidney failure. So that's not really a good thing. So don't drink your urine. Also, what you should drink is from a cactus. I also learned from Bear Grylls and all these survival experts. These survival experts don't really know what they're doing, are they? Or maybe they're doing something right. But yeah, you shouldn't drink from a cactus as well. You have like these, you have a lot of cacti that you can drink of. Not a lot particularly, but there are some. When you cut them open, they actually retain moisture from the air in the night, and then they retain it in the day. But most of cacti have really poisonous chemicals in them as well, and really poisonous components. There's a cacti that's called the ayahuasca, and when you drink that, you begin tripping, and it's almost a certain death. So don't drink cactus juice unless you are certain that you can drink it, which is not a lot of the cases. What you can do is grab the fruits of the cacti and smash it and drink the juice of that. That is a good thing. So yeah, what's another survival thing that I remember? Yeah, in quicksand. You won't die in quicksand. I've always had the thought that if you become stuck in quicksand, you would die. If you get stuck in quicksand, you drown, and you see like the images of hands going above the sand, people drowning in quicksand. You can't. You can't die in quicksand. You can become stuck, and it sucks that you won't die. Even if you move frantically, you will become more stuck. But there's a certain point where there's no water. Quicksand actually exists because there's a lot of water between the sand particles, and it creates this wobbly effect of the water, of the sand on the water, basically. But the water eventually dries out because of the amount of sand there. So eventually, you just stand on sand. You get trapped in the water mixed with the sand, like the mud, but you won't drown. There's actually the cases of people dying in quicksand was like a few cases, but that was just because some drunk idiot fell into the quicksand and couldn't get up. He just fell face first and he suffocated. Same thing as a man that tripped, bumped his head on a rock and drowned in a puddle of like 2 centimeters, which I thought was a really funny story actually. It's kind of tragic that he actually died, but still. What's another good survival tactic that I know of? Yeah, if a building is on fire. Okay, so let's get a scenario started. Yeah, my laptop wobbles a lot. Excuse for that. When you're in a building, a burning building, there's a few things you shouldn't do, and that's let oxygen come through. That seems the most logical of them all. Most people know that is if there's a fire and you open a window, you let oxygen come through, and that fuels the fire, which causes it to grow even more. But you want to escape, of course. But yeah, don't do that. But a few things I did learn, which I thought were really interesting, is that you shouldn't open doors most of the time, because when fire is in a room, it gets all the oxygen. It gets all the fuel from the surrounding area. So it burns on the wood and papers and that kind of stuff. It just burns in the material, but it needs oxygen to thrive. And once it burns in a room, it pulls out the oxygen and puts out a lot of gases, but it creates kind of a vacuum. So once you suddenly let a lot of oxygen in that room, or new sources of oxygen, it creates a huge spark and actually a huge explosion. I've seen video footage of it was a 3D rendering, but a man that was just rushing and he pulled open a door, and his room wasn't completely on fire. It was on fire, but not a lot. And he pulled open a door. First of all, he burned his hand because metal transfers heat really good. But he first of all he burned his hand on the doorknob, but he opened it and it burst out in flames and he died because all of the oxygen from that room suddenly got sucked into the other, and it created sort of push and pull motion in the fire, and it actually created a huge explosion, which I thought was really interesting because most of the time you don't think about that in a survivor situation. You're really stressed. One thing you also should do in survivor situations is keep calm. Just think about what your options are, and try to rationalize everything, because if you don't, you'll probably die. Also with fires, try to stay low on the ground. That's where the most oxygen still is. And try to put like a filter in front of your mouth. Your nose filters the air that's coming through thanks to your nose hairs, but your mouth doesn't. So try to get your shirt in front of your mouth, and if you are able to put water on it, because water attracts the carbon monoxide, so it sticks on the water, and you are able, like, the water prevents breathing a little, but you are breathing more fresh air. So that's a good thing. And stay low on the ground because it's colder there, because heat goes to the roof. And if you're laying on the ground, there's more oxygen there. But what I said about keeping calm, that's also a really interesting one. I read a couple cases of I have a lot of free time. I realize, but still, I've read a lot of articles of, like, and you've probably heard it as well, of car crashes. A lot of accidents happen on the road, like 75 of all accidents happen on the road. And if people crash, if there's a drunk driver involved, most of the time the drunk driver is the one who lives. And that's really crazy. I was like, yeah, why is that? Why is it the drunk driver that lives, but the others involved in the accident die? And I thought it was really tragic because, the dickhead that decides to, excuse me for my profanity, but the person that drives under influence kills others and gets to live. But the reason for that is, if you see, I've been in an accident myself as well. If you see something happening, you tense yourself. You brace yourself for the impact that's coming. Actually, the thing that you should do is keep calm and let it happen. Like, when you do this in front of, for example, you're sitting in the back seat, there's no airbag, and you do this, you protect your head, which will break your arm inside to your head. So this is harder than a car seat, for example, or this, you move all over the place. And if you just ragdoll, it's actually safer, which I thought was really interesting. So the drunk driver lives most of the time, has the highest probability of living, because he doesn't tense himself. He just ragdolls around and just crashes and stops, while the other people tense and don't move with the movement. Just stick to their own movements and don't flow with everything else. And that is something that, you get a whiplash or gets people killed. The highest probability of people surviving in car crashes are drunk drivers and babies, because they don't know what's going on. So I thought it was really interesting. But I think 15 minutes is probably enough to prove my to prove myself. I hope. Um, Thank you for listening. I hope it was interesting enough. I tried to convey it as interesting as possible. Maybe you already switched it off, maybe you didn't. If you didn't, congratulations for listening to me rambling about survivability and other stuff. Yeah, thanks so much. See you.